In modern evangelism, most pastors preach about faith, grace, and community. But John Ramirez preaches about war. He claims to have mastered the specific tactical maneuvers demons use to infiltrate homes and neighborhoods. His message reaches millions. His books are bestsellers, his conferences sell out worldwide, and massive Christian television networks broadcast his teachings directly into living rooms across the country. This massive platform is built on an astonishing claim. Before fighting demons, he commanded them as a high-ranking satanic priest for 25 years. In a landscape of everyday preachers, Ramirez stands out. His authority derives entirely from the dark resume he claims to have earned in the occult. Ramirez roots his origin story in the concrete streets of the Bronx. He describes growing up in a family heavily involved in the dark arts, buying ingredients for rituals at local spiritual shops known as botanicas. He claims he rose quickly through the ranks of Santeria and Palo Mayombe, Afro-Caribbean religions that he describes to his audience as terrifying realms of animal sacrifices and demonic rituals. According to his testimony, he mastered astral projection, leaving his physical body to place generational curses on neighborhoods and conquer spiritual territory for the devil. In his own narrative, Ramirez was an empowered operative, conversing with demons through the night and viewing Satan as a literal father figure. The climax of his story arrives in 1999. Ramirez says he directly challenged Jesus Christ to prove his power before falling into a deep supernatural sleep, or in some tellings, actually dying in his apartment. He describes his spirit boarding a train packed with faceless passengers, rushing toward hell under the crushing, suffocating weight of absolute fear. In the underworld, a horned Satan attempts to destroy him to protect the kingdom's secrets. Suddenly, a massive wooden cross appears, repelling the devil and shooting Ramirez's spirit back into his physical body. This battle of good and evil serves as the narrative bedrock for a career built on supernatural expertise. Cross-referencing his public appearances reveals a story that shifts and evolves with each new telling. His descent into the occult constantly shifts. Depending on the telling, initiation happens at age 12, 10, 9, 8, or 7. His first encounter branches too: a necklace falling from the sky, found in a schoolyard, or forcibly placed on him. Memories of traumatic, life-altering events usually remain consistent. These constant shifts in his backstory indicate a narrative being actively refined for dramatic effect. The factual errors extend beyond his timeline to the very religions he claims to have mastered. Santeria and Palo Mayombe are syncretic Afro-Caribbean belief systems. They operate entirely outside the framework of Christian Satanism. These traditions simply do not feature satanic high priests, nor do their practitioners make dualistic pacts with the devil, as Ramirez describes. His primary claimed spirit guide, an indigenous chief he calls Tawawata, does not exist in the established pantheons of these religions. Ramirez is taking familiar, cinematic demonic tropes and grafting them onto Afro-Caribbean religions. This creates a recognizable, marketable villain for his specific audience. Today, his teachings rely heavily on a concept called spiritual cartography, the practice of actively mapping out and fighting specific territorial demons in a given neighborhood. This doctrine shifts Christian prayer away from a defensive act of faith. Instead, it becomes an offensive, tactical strike, requiring specialized knowledge to execute properly. That specialized knowledge comes with a price tag. Ramirez monetizes this fear through Immortal Combat conferences, charging $45 to $55 a seat, alongside spiritual warfare bootcamp e-courses and paid inner circle memberships. His followers pay for access to a playbook only he can provide, turning an unverifiable past into a business model based on tactical expertise. Despite the glaring theological and chronological holes in his testimony, his popularity and platform continue to surge within modern evangelicalism. Factual accuracy often takes a back seat when audiences are craving empowerment. His followers are looking for a sense of control over unseen, intimidating forces. In an otherwise chaotic world, a captivating, mystical narrative provides a comforting sense of certainty and agency. It gives people a clear enemy and a method to fight back. Ramirez has turned a mastery of supernatural storytelling into a self-sustaining business fueled by spiritual anxiety. In New York City, John Ramirez was known by a specific moniker, Lucifer's son. He was a high-ranking occultist holding absolute authority over his territory. To build that influence, he immersed himself in Santeria and Palo Mayombe. He carried out animal sacrifices, establishing contracts with demonic entities to solidify his control. But this pursuit of dark power did not happen in a vacuum. Growing up surrounded by extreme poverty and domestic abuse in the South Bronx, Ramirez needed a way to survive. The occult became his armor against a deeply broken environment. From the outside, he appeared untouchable. He claimed the ability to project his spirit across the city and place curses on entire neighborhoods. Yet internally, he was starving. His paranoia escalated with every ritual. That is the reality of authority built on trauma and domination. The armor you construct to protect yourself eventually hardens into an inescapable psychological prison. Then, he started hitting roadblocks. During his astral projections, Ramirez noticed specific anomalies, entire neighborhoods where his curses simply would not land. He expected to clash with rival warlocks or stronger occult practitioners. Instead, he found groups of ordinary Christians holding hands and practicing targeted prayer over their communities. This diagram illustrates what was happening in the spiritual realm. Through targeted intercessory prayer, these believers were actively pushing back his dark zones of control, neutralizing his attacks before they could even materialize. For Ramirez, this shattered his entire worldview. He was looking at an opposing force that could halt his absolute domination, and it was doing so without relying on fear, complex rituals, or sacrifices. He began to investigate these Christians. He expected to find fear and torment, the currency of his own world. Instead, he found their lives defined by a quiet, persistent peace. Every contract Ramirez made in the occult was entirely transactional. His protection required continuous payments of blood and strict obedience. These believers were operating under unconditional grace. He decided to intellectually examine their source material. He opened the Bible, trying to understand where this non-transactional power actually came from. What he read inverted everything he knew. He was accustomed to deities that demanded constant sacrifices from him. Here, he read about a God who sacrificed himself for humanity. His lifelong belief was that power equaled the ability to dominate others. Now, he was looking at an authority rooted entirely in self-sacrifice and grace. This intellectual curiosity collided with reality in 1999. In his New York City apartment, Ramirez experienced a sudden, severe medical event. He fell into a deep, unconscious state. He describes waking up on a metaphysical train hurtling toward hell, surrounded by pure, suffocating terror. There, he faced a direct confrontation with the devil. The entity immediately dropped the supportive father figure facade it had worn for decades, threatening to destroy Ramirez to protect the kingdom's secrets. Ramirez was absolutely helpless in the face of this dark domination. Then, a simple wooden cross appeared. The cross physically overpowered the devil with zero effort. It instantly broke the entity's grip and sent Ramirez violently jolting back into his physical body. The power of divine redemption requires no complex ritual. Its mere presence effortlessly shatters absolute demonic control. Waking up in his apartment, Ramirez knew what following Christ meant. He had to permanently abandon his high-ranking status, his entire identity, and what he thought was his protection. He started by discarding thousands of dollars worth of occult materials. He physically trashed the altars and actively severed the demonic contracts he had spent his life building. His former domain retaliated. For 30 days, he endured intense physical torment, choking sensations, and spiritual attacks as the entities attempted to reclaim their territory. During this month of torment, he used a single, repetitive defense mechanism. He relied exclusively on speaking the name of Jesus to force the entities out of his room. Escaping a system of domination incurs a severe cost. It tests whether a person's desire for true freedom is stronger than the comfort of their familiar chains. Ramirez stopped fighting for control. He surrendered his life, his trauma, and his future to Jesus Christ. His former life of fear and isolation gave way to a new reality. He found profound internal peace and finally restored his fractured relationships with his mother and his daughter. Today, he travels globally as an evangelist. He uses his past as evidence to preach the gospel and equip others in spiritual warfare. The ability to dominate others is nothing next to the radical grace required to redeem a human soul.
Thank you for watching the first episode all the way to the end. We invite you to continue with episode 2 and discover the next chapter of this remarkable journey.